Part 24. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 238. Poof. As the supreme immortal magic swept across, dozens of foreign immortals exploded. Qin Hao waved his sleeves, and when the sword of destruction roared, the souls of those foreign immortals were all scattered. For Qin Hao today, the true immortal level can be easily killed by his hands. So strong. Such a terrifying existence was actually born in the Daiguan border territory. No wonder the 7-star immortal king protects him like that. The real immortals of Daiguan who were rescued by Qin Hao all looked at Qin Hao in shock, unable to conceal their awe. The existence of half-step immortal king is not absent in Daiguan. But there has never been anyone like Qin Hao. He can easily kill dozens of foreign immortals. After all, although the half-step immortal king is strong, he has not yet truly reached the level of immortal king, and is still in the realm of true immortals. Qin Hao's combat power is probably not only he is a half-step immortal king, but he is already comparable to the real immortal king giant. Such qualifications are indeed amazing. No wonder he can prove the Tao in the lower realm and can also unify the border forces. Buzz. Just as Qin Hao sealed the immortality in the foreign land Bing, when he was about to leave, the induction talisman on the body of Emperor Guan True Immortal began to tremble slightly. After the True Immortal felt it for a moment, his face suddenly changed. "Captain, what's wrong?" The other Imperial Immortals in the surrounding area all looked at the True Immortal headed by that one. A battle formation was trapped by a half-step Immortal King from a foreign land, leading 2,000 foreign Immortals. The True Immortal looked at Qin Hao with a very solemn expression. The other Imperial Pass warriors also looked at Qin Hao. If they were just Immortals in a foreign land, they would not be afraid of a battle even if their powers were hugely different. But not only are there 2,000 immortals in a foreign land and a half-step immortal king are two different things. Lead the way. Qin Hao became interested when he heard about the half-step immortal king. Along the way, he killed hundreds of immortals from foreign lands. But no one knew about those immortals. They were banned from foreign lands for 9 days and 10 years. What is the real purpose of the earth? Now that a half-step immortal king pops up, he will know more or less the inside story. This way. The immortal of Daiguan was overjoyed and immediately followed the induction talisman and fled away at high speed. To be honest, Qin Hao was not a warrior of Daiguan. And with his combat power, if they were not involved in such trouble, there would be nothing they could do. But Qin Hao did not hesitate at all, which moved the true immortal of Daiguan extremely. Boom. Not long after, a destruction and chaos appeared in the eyes of Qin Hao and others. Thousands of true immortals and immortals were attacking fiercely. They were all fighting with red eyes and overwhelming murderous intent. Around the melee, dozens of star fields in a radius had all been turned into dust. Even the void of heaven and earth was shattered, and even the long river of time and the reincarnation of the underworld were shattered. They are all manifestations. One can imagine how devastating the chaos-filled killings at this time were. Although there were casualties in both the immortal realm and the foreign realm, overall, the immortal realm had more casualties. There are only 1,000 true immortals in one battle formation. Now when they encounter a half-step immortal king leading a siege of 2,000 alien immortals, they are naturally no match. At a glance, 300 or 400 of the true immortals in the Imperial Pass have already died. It's no wonder that they couldn't even maintain the battle formation and fell into a death melee. Kill. Those Imperial Immortals who came with Qin Hao immediately became red-eyed when they saw that scene. Regardless of the disparity in strength, they each used their immortal killing soldiers and rushed into the melee. Qin Hao's eyes were locked on the half-step immortal king in the foreign land for an instant. But at this moment, Qin Hao's eyes flickered, revealing a look of surprise. The aura of the half-step immortal king, he actually, It feels vaguely familiar. It's you. At this time, the half-step immortal king from the foreign land also noticed Qin Hao. Like Qin Hao, the half-step immortal king was also sizing up Qin Hao. Moreover, he also recognized Qin Hao, with a cold pair of eyes. A look of surprise appeared in the eyes of the three-horned snake. The body of this half-step immortal king from a foreign land is the nether demon python. He is considered one of the royal families in the foreign land, and his background is quite astonishing. It's really a narrow road for enemies. When their eyes met, Qin Hao finally understood why he felt familiar with this netherworld demonic python. This netherworld demonic python was the foreign immortal who brought about the catastrophe of the Emperor of Heaven on the battlefield of Daiguan in the past. Although at that time, I haven't seen the body of this nether demonic python, but this kind of aura is absolutely unmistakable. In just a few thousand years, he actually reached the level of half-step immortal king. Could this guy really have obtained the ancient inheritance of the Xianhuan universe from the past? The netherworld demonic python has a pair of three-horned snake eyes, flashing with a strange cold light. The foreign races from outside the territory invaded the Xianhuan universe in large numbers and paid a heavy price. As a result, the achievements of the Xianhuan universe were taken away by the immortal realm. But now it seems that the immortal realm has still missed the fish of Qin Hao. In just a few thousand years, he has reached the half-step immortal king from the human realm. It is impossible to say that Qin Hao has no big secrets. Whoops! In that nether demon python, when his thoughts were flickering, Qin Hao emerged in the form of a Kunpeng, surrounded by thunder. It was the Kunpeng treasure technique and the Thunder Emperor treasure technique of the 10 ancient evils. Immediately, Qin Hao's speed was so fast that he almost time-stopped. Almost in a blink of an eye, he rushed into the chaotic battlefield and headed straight for the netherworld demonic python. Because, in those two levels of amplified treasures, there are still laws of time and space surrounding them. When the Thunder Kunpeng passed by, all the foreign immortals it encountered exploded into pieces, and their bodies and souls were extinguished. This world-shattering and terrifying killing technique made all the foreign immortals turn pale with fright and avoid them one after another. Even the netherworld demonic python with a sinister sneer in his eyes had its pupils shrunken. Unbelievable. Killing a true immortal is like an ant? Is Qin Hao really just a half-step immortal king? Of course, at this time, the netherworld demonic python also there was no time to think too much. In this moment, Qin Hao, who was so murderous, had already come to kill him with boundless laws. The terrifying momentum was like holding the entire fairyland in his hand, and he was suppressing him from the sky. Chaotic magic. The netherworld demonic python roared, and the shadow of the demonic python appeared behind him, exuding the energy of darkness. After that, an ancient magic seal that exuded the rich energy of the dark origin condensed out. This is an extremely ancient killing technique. The seal contains the most original dark energy, which can directly corrode the immortal soul. Once contaminated, the soul will be in chaos and the body will fall into darkness. Die. Qin Hao made no extra moves in response to this. When his body was manifested, he waved his right fist and punched it out. Above the fist, rays of Hongmeng fairy light surrounded him, turning into a six-path reincarnation disc. On the reincarnation disc, there were 7 ancient seals of reincarnation. It emerged clearly, exuding a supreme mysterious aura. Boom! The next moment, the 6 reincarnation discs were extremely fierce, bombarding the ancient magic seal. With a crisp click sound, the ancient magic seal was directly collapse annihilation. Not good. This made the nether demonic python stand on its head with chills all over its body. Without thinking, it immediately used the ancient demon soldiers to escape. Phew. But unfortunately, as the power of time and space spread, the netherworld demonic python immediately fell into the endless swamp. Almost at the same time, the 6-path reincarnation disc condensed into a bright fist, like a shooting star breaking through the sky. Poof! The sound of flesh and blood exploding resounded. Only half of the foot, the nether demon python that had stepped onto the level of the immortal king, was immediately struck by the sixth path. The reincarnation fist kills. It is a complete killing, not even a trace of true spirit is left. This is the killing power of the reincarnation magic, which can make living beings not even have a chance to enter reincarnation. So weak. This is beyond Qin Hao's expectation. Is he still thinking about extracting the soul of this netherworld demonic python? Who knows, this netherworld demonic python can't even bear his punch. You know, what he just said, he punched, but he didn't use all his strength at all. Is the half-step immortal king of the netherworld demon python a little too watery? Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 239. Immortal King. He defeated the half-step immortal king with one punch. This is definitely a giant in the immortal king realm. What happened? In the immortal realm, aren't there only 9 giant immortal kings? What is this person's background? It should be a secret technique that hides the true cultivation level. After seeing one punch, the nether demonic python was completely shaken to its core. The battlefield that was originally filled with chaotic fighting paused for a moment at this moment. Although Qin Hao does not have the unparalleled immortal power of the immortal king realm, but Qin Hao has definitely reached the level of immortal king. Otherwise, it would be impossible to kill a half-step immortal king with one punch. This caused the expressions of those foreign immortals to change drastically, and their eyes could not hide the horror. On the contrary, the fairies of the immortal realm who suffered heavy casualties were extremely ecstatic. The arrival of a giant immortal king is enough to calm the current situation. Is it because of the seal of reincarnation? Qin Hao ignored it, and those shocked and frightened foreign immortals murmured softly. Qin Hao, who has reached the 8th level of the 9 deaths to become a king, is equivalent to the superposition of 9 generations of cultivation. With all his strength, even the real immortal king, Qin Hao, is enough to kill. But the destructive power just now was real, beyond Qin Hao's expectation. The power of the 6 paths of Samsara fist cannot be so terrifying. A half-step immortal king cannot, it should be so weak. So the only possibility is that the mysterious killing power burst out from the 7 reincarnation marks. And speaking of the magic of reincarnation, it seems that as long as 10 reincarnation seals are condensed, one can understand the true meaning of reincarnation. If the 10 seals were united into one, it would even reach a supreme state. Of course, Qin Hao didn't think much about this issue. He raised his eyelids slightly and looked at those dead foreign immortals with indifferent eyes. Whoosh! Then, one after another Dharma body was born from Qin Hao's body, rushing out with boundless killing power. Naturally, Qin Hao himself was not idle, his fists continued to kill, and the 4 swords of Zhu Xian also slashed wildly. In the blink of an eye, there were countless 10 immortals from foreign lands died, their bones floated in the air, and their blood spread across the starry sky. Escape. The rest of the foreign immortals were already pale, and they did not dare to stay at all, and immediately fled in all directions. The killing power exuded by Qin Hao now is actually more terrifying than when he killed the nether demon python before. It can be seen that Qin Hao before, he didn't show his true intentions at all. In other words, Qin Hao's combat power is so strong that even in the immortal king realm, he is definitely considered a giant. Kill. The true immortals of the immortal realm naturally accompanied Qin Hao's Dharma body to carry out bloody revenge. Even those seriously injured Daiguan warriors fought out with serious injuries. In a short period of time, the more than 2,000 alien immortals, most of them were killed or injured. Even those who escaped by chance were seriously injured and paid a huge price. Boom! But just when the real immortal in the immortal realm was about to take advantage of the victory to pursue him, a supreme killing power came suddenly. At this moment, the bodies of those Daiguan true immortals whose momentum was rising and whose murderous aura was boiling were violently shaken. An uncontrollable feeling of heart palpitations and fear emerged in their hearts. Such unparalleled killing power, Wu Lu was the previous netherworld demon. The Python, or Qin Hao who killed the nether demonic Python, are far inferior to each other. It can even be said that they are two completely different levels. Foreign land, immortal king. Immediately, the expression of the true immortal of Daiguan became extremely solemn. There is no doubt that this is definitely the immortal king from a foreign land, coming at this moment. They looked up. Sure enough, a huge black hole appeared in the sky. With the rolling majesty the dark energy filled the air, and a creature as big as a mountain stepped out. Just a simple step, but it made the void tremble violently. It seemed that this star field could not bear such unparalleled power. The hundreds of true immortals from the immortal realm who were covered in blood were all suppressed by boundless pressure, and their bodies were trembling. War. Suddenly, a roar full of unyielding fighting spirit sounded. War. The rest of the true immortals also roared, and their auras merged into one, turning into an incomplete battle formation. The immortal realm is the most powerful place of origin among all the heavens and realms. As creatures of the immortal realm, even though the strength is not as good as that of humans, the fighting spirit cannot be crushed. Boom! The majestic creature as big as a mountain looked at the immortal realm indifferently and took a photo of it with a palm. Immediately, there was boundless dark energy, it swept away unscrupulously. The killing power that sealed the sky and the earth gave the soldiers of the Imperial Pass a sense of death with no way to escape. But the true immortals of the Imperial Pass did not retreat even half a step, and their fighting spirit was as concentrated as ever. Don't scatter. Wow! Just when the giant dark hand was about to be taken down, a bright sword light flashed through the air. It was the four swords of Zeus Yen, transformed into a sword array and slashed out. The earth-shattering collision of laws, in this area the world opened with unbridled impact. The remaining formations of the true immortal warriors in the Imperial Pass were all shattered to pieces by the impact, and their breaths were confused. Just by being impacted, they were all seriously injured. As you can imagine, that majestic creature, the collision with Qin Hao, reached such a stage of destruction. But what shocked the real immortal of Daiguan was that Qin Hao could actually block the killing attack of the real immortal king. Judging from Qin Hao's immortal power, he should have not yet set foot in the immortal king realm. Can a true immortal realm kill the immortal king realm against all odds? The half-step immortal king can actually resist this killing technique. What an amazing qualification! Give you a chance to join our mountain troll tribe and avoid death. The majestic creature surrounded by the dark energy looked down at Qin Hao from a high position, with a sound like thunder. I will also give you a chance to tell you your purpose honestly, and I can make your death easier. Qin Hao stepped up step by step, walking parallel to the mountain troll. The immortal killing sword formation flew back and was taken into Qin Hao's body. Ordinary immortal weapons were of little use against the immortal king at the immortal king level. If you want to fight against such existence, you must use the immortal king soldiers. Of course, Qin Hao does not have any immortal king soldiers. The immortal king soldiers that the four elephants immortal king suppressed were all sacrificed by him when he ascended. However, although there are no immortal king soldiers, Qin Hao has a more terrifying killing weapon than the immortal king soldiers. Since you insist on wanting to die, I have no choice but to let you die. The mountain troll heard Qin Hao's words and directly blasted a destructive killing fist. This punch seemed to suppress the entire sky. It was an indescribable killing power that could destroy the world. If it were not for the nine heavens world, blocked by a mysterious barrier, I'm afraid it is completely broken at this moment. Cut. Qin Hao was unmoved and shouted in his heart. In his dantian, a flash of fairy light burst out of the sky. The next moment, a supreme sword intent like a mountain torrent and tsunami erupted mightily. It was the prehistoric, innate treasure. 1. The Xuxian sword. Tisk. Qin Hao held the Xuxian sword in his hand, took one step across the space, and swung the sword to slash out. The bright sword light was like the sun rising into the sky, illuminating all the heavens and all realms. The sword contained boundless killing power. The dark killing fist was cut open by a sword. Even the terrifying sword energy did not reduce its killing power at all, forcing it to kill the mountain troll. Escape. The mountain troll, who was originally looking at him indifferently, shrank his eyes sharply, and his huge body immediately became smaller. But even so, the mountain troll was still cut off half of its head by a sword. Moreover, in the sword energy wherever you go, there are deep dark cracks cause turmoil in the world of Jushin. Could this be a quasi-immortal emperor soldier? The mountain troll, who had grown to be about 10 feet tall, looked at Qin Hao with strong horror in his eyes. If he had not avoided the sword just now, he would have been seriously injured even if he did not die. Without the increase of the immortal law, it was just an immortal sword. The sword energy itself has such world-destroying power? This is definitely beyond the immortal king soldier. It is very likely to reach the rumored quasi-immortal emperor armament. How could a half-step immortal king achieve such a shocking massacre? Tool. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 240. The immortal king of foreign land was beheaded. No way. The half-step immortal king can kill the real immortal king giant with one sword. This is going against heaven. Those imperial immortals who saw Qin Hao fighting with the mountain trolls and retreating far away were stunned. This situation was completely beyond their expectations. They originally thought that no matter how strong Qin Hao was, he could at most it was just a fight against the immortal king of a foreign land. But who would have thought that Qin Hao's move would be shocking, and he would kill the immortal king of a foreign land with one sword? At that moment, if the mountain troll had not used secret techniques to save his life, he would probably have lost his entire head now. This how terrifying has Qin Hao's combat power reached when he jumped out from the border area? It is indeed a treasure from ancient times, it is indeed terrifyingly powerful. Qin Hao looked at the deep cracks that appeared in the void, and his eyes were full of energy. You must know that this 9-day world is blocked by a foreign land with an ancient mysterious barrier. It is as powerful as the mountain troll, whose previous destructive killing techniques failed to shatter this universe. But under the Xuxian sword, a casual sword easily tore out deep-seated cracks. It can be seen that the Xuxian sword contains unrivaled killing power. This is Qin Hao's cultivation level. Weak and unable to fully display the power of the immortal killing sword. If he is strong enough, he can destroy all heavens and worlds with just one sword. But even so, to Qin Hao, a giant in the immortal king realm there is no threat anymore. This is why Qin Hao dared to confront the 9 dragons immortal king like that when he was at the border area of Daiguan. The innate treasure, the immortal killing sword, is where his confidence lies. Crack. The next moment, Qin Hao's body flashed with lightning, as fast as lightning pierced the sky, and the evil beast came out again. As he rushed out, Qin Hao stared at the mountain troll, his eyes brewing a destructive killing technique. Who is this guy? At this moment, the mountain troll has lost any trace of the previous indifference. In fact, there is an unconcealable sense of solemnity and heaviness in his expression. There should be no more supreme beings at the level of quasi-immortal emperors in the immortal realm. Where did the immortal killing sword in Qin Hao's hand come from? More importantly, with Qin Hao's cultivation, how could he use such a treasure? All demons. Of course, although there are thousands of thoughts in his mind, the mountain troll's killing skills are not slow at all. Almost at the moment Qin Hao left, the mountain troll sacrificed a dark and deep ancient flag. The ancient flag was filled with smoke. Countless dark magic patterns condensed into a mountain troll, there were tens of thousands of them. This is the most precious treasure of the mountain troll tribe, called the 10,000 demon banners. In these 10,000 demon flags, the mountain troll tribes of all generations are sealed. Transformed immortals, and even immortal kings. After countless years of cultivation by the energy of the dark origin, the true spirit of these 10,000 demon flags has become more and more terrifying. Now, these 10,000 demon flags are already one piece, with the sky high. The killing power is the ultimate treasure. The reason why the mountain trolls can become the royal family of foreign races outside the territory, these 10,000 demon flags are indispensable. Melt. The mountain troll roared, with endless dark origins rushing out like a tsunami and mountain torrent. All those dark origins were integrated into the true spirits of the mountain troll tribe. Boom boom boom. After integrating the energy of those dark origins, those condensed mountain trolls seemed to have awakened their spiritual intelligence, and their momentum surged crazily. Kill. The next moment, thousands of mountain troll true spirits were overwhelmingly killing Qin Hao. Every mountain troll true spirit filled with dark energy contained the boundless law of darkness. Even Jushin in the world, there is an ancient barrier blocking it, and it is also shaking violently at this moment. Phew. Qin Hao didn't even pay attention to the mountain troll true spirits that rushed towards him like a torrent. He had no interest in wasting it on a group of puppets. Time and space surrounded by the power of Qin Hao shuttled directly through the void and appeared above the mountain troll himself. Cut. Without any unnecessary movements, Qin Hao slashed out a sword that destroyed the heaven and earth from top to bottom. This sword was much more dangerous and terrifying than before. There were no longer dark cracks in the void of heaven and earth. Instead, it exploded and shattered inch by inch. Magic array. The mountain giant demon tribe was obviously well prepared, and directly sacrificed 5 ancient weapons to form a demonic array. In an instant, the area tens of thousands of miles away was covered by the demonic array. Qin Hao originally dodged it. Thousands of mountain troll true spirits teleported into the magic array at this moment. Boom. After that, the power of all the mountain troll true spirits gathered together at this moment to form a dark killing fist. This punch seemed to activate the laws of all heavens and realms. Boundless killing power came from all directions, pressing down on Qin Hao. There was no way to avoid or hide. There was a stabbing sound. The destructive sword light struck by Qin Hao collided with the dark killing fist. In an instant, the dark killing fist was cut into two by the Zuxian sword. But strangely, the dark killing fist still carrying the law of destruction, it burst out of the air. Obviously, after seeing the terrifying killing power of the Zuxian sword, the mountain troll didn't even think about using this magic formation to block the Zuxian sword. His real purpose was to deal with the sword-wielding Qin Hao. If it weren't for the immortal killing sword, the mountain troll wouldn't be looking at him even if he was only half a step into the immortal king realm. Desolation sword technique. As the double pupils opened and closed, the dark killing fist that struck through the slits immediately slowed down countless times. Immediately afterwards, the Zuxian sword slashed again, and a dazzling sword light spread across the world like a bright star river. Phantom. With this sword strike, both the chopping dark killing fist and the ancient magic array were completely annihilated in an instant. The mountain troll who originally wanted to target Qin Hao's body felt an astonishing thought in his heart. The coldness immediately transformed into thousands of phantoms, making it difficult for people to distinguish the true from the false. But unfortunately, in front of the ancient eyes, all illusions were seen through. The Zuxian sword energy raged past, and there was blood immediately scattered in the void. That the mountain troll was cut in half, and the phantoms that appeared were also torn to pieces by the sword energy. Not only that, under this sword, The magic array and the 10,000 demon flags were shattered. Break. But even after suffering such a fatal attack, the mountain troll still did not die. He roared ferociously and summoned a huge black hole with the source of endless darkness. The unparalleled aura of the immortal king came from the huge black hole. Fall down, wrap up the mountain troll, and escape into the black hole. Want to leave? Qin Hao reacted instantly, taking a step across the space, following him like a shadow, chasing into the black hole. Even though there were obviously many immortal kings from foreign lands in the huge black hole, Qin Hao was not afraid. At the moment of entering, the immortal killing sword swung again, killing the mountain troll that was cut in half was directly torn into tens of millions. The destructive sword energy contained in the Xuxian sword, even the body of the immortal king could not resist it. However, under the rules of the immortal king under the surging force, the spirit of the mountain troll successfully escaped. After passing through the billowing air of darkness, Qin Hao entered an ancient secret realm. This entire secret realm had obviously fallen into the hands of aliens from outside the territory, and the air of darkness swept across the world. Like being in the ancient land of dark origins. This is. But the next moment, Qin Hao's expression changed. This ancient secret realm is actually filled with the aura of the immortal emperor. Moreover, this immortal emperor's aura also contains a strong aura of death. Could it be that in this secret realm, an immortal emperor once died here? Is this also the real purpose of the alien race from outside the territory to attack the Jushin world? Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 241. When Qin Hao's eyes showed shock and countless thoughts flashed through his mind, his eyes suddenly condensed. In the distant sky and earth, there were 9 huge dark altars floating in the sky. On top of those 9 altars, they are each gathering, thick dark energy. There is an endless stream of blood, scattered from the dark energy, and integrated into the 9 altars. The scattered blood is clearly immortal blood. Immortal realm and immortal creatures, the blood essence and blood. Apparently, the blood essence and blood of the immortals who were robbed in the Jushin world were all swallowed up by the 9 altars. And in the center of the 9 altars, there is a mysterious secret realm, looming. It seems that it is because only the essence and blood sacrificed at the 9 altars will be revealed. Here, there is actually an extremely rare double secret realm. Seeing this, Qin Hao also understood. The aliens from outside the territory led the Emperor Guan army to come, and the purpose of sealing the Jushin world is for the true immortal blood. In other words, it is to sacrifice the true immortal blood to make that mysterious secret realm appear. Because the immortal emperor's aura that fills this ancient secret realm comes from emitted in that secret realm. Boom. Outside the 9 altars, headed by the 7-star immortal king, the 7 Emperor Guan immortal kings were all covered in blood, covered with scars, and were in trouble. Because the 7-star immortal kings were in trouble. Being besieged by 18 immortal kings from a foreign land. Under such a huge gap, it is extremely amazing to be able to survive undefeated. As for the 9 dragons immortal king and another immortal king, I don't know when they left. Careful. At this moment, a loud shout rang out. It was the 7-star immortal king who was fighting with the immortal king from a foreign land in the sky and the earth. He suddenly shouted to Qin Hao. Because behind Qin Hao, an immortal king from a foreign land actually appeared, quietly attacked Qin Hao silently. Retreat quickly, that boy has quasi-immortal emperor soldiers. Almost at the same time, an anxious voice also rang out. The owner of this voice was the mountain troll who had only his soul and was lucky enough to escape. Poof. When they both spoke out in unison. Qin Hao, with his eyes flashing, suddenly slashed behind him with his sword. The power of the law of time and space was slashed out at this moment. Immediately, blood exploded like a river. The alien immortal king who attacked and killed was killed with one sword. Giants as powerful as the mountain troll and other immortal kings were almost killed by Qin Hao's sword. Not to mention, this ordinary one who sneaked up on Qin Hao immortal king. Ben. At the moment when he swung his sword to kill, the lock pool descended and sealed the immortal king's soul with great force. Quasi-immortal emperor soldiers. After hearing the words of the mountain troll and seeing Qin Hao kill an immortal king with a sword, all the creatures in the secret realm were silent. They all looked at the handle in Qin Hao's hand that exuded the aura of the ancient world. The supreme immortal sword, his eyes were shocked. Especially the immortal king from a foreign land, it was even more unbelievable. The quasi-immortal emperor weapon can only be refined by giants at the quasi-immortal emperor level. Could it be that the 8th-domain immortal who is in charge of the entire immortal realm, sir, someone has stepped into the level of quasi-immortal emperor? But the 7-star immortal king and others were also dumbfounded. As far as they knew, ever since those quasi-immortal emperors set foot in the depths of the sea before immortal ancient times, the immortal realm has never been the same again. A quasi-immortal emperor was born. Where did Qin Hao's quasi-immortal emperor weapon come from? I see. At this time, Qin Hao, who had refined the soul of the immortal king from the foreign land, knew all the plans of the foreign races. It was indeed very possible that a supreme immortal emperor had fallen in this ancient secret realm in the past. The immortal king from the foreign land had, after the king knew about it, he quietly infiltrated into the Jushan world, hoping to obtain the inheritance of the immortal emperor. But unfortunately, this ancient secret realm turned out to be a double secret realm. And to open the second secret realm, you need to sacrifice the true immortal of the immortal realm. The blood. Moreover, the essence and blood to be sacrificed is not even a little bit. Therefore, the aliens from outside the territory planned this conspiracy with their own hands. As for why more immortal kings are not sent, which will involve the race war in the alien territory. In the immortal realm, there are 8 realms of heaven and earth, and there are many open and secret fights between the realms. There are billions of alien races and dark races outside the realm. It is naturally impossible that they are monolithic. The mountain trolls and other immortal kings are the giants of the same camp, so they are joined forces. The inheritance of the immortal emperor. Qin Hao looked at the secret realm that was gradually revealed, his eyes sparkling. If an immortal emperor really fell here, it means that there is a heaven-defying fairy fate hidden in that secret realm. You know, back in the Gulay Mountains, the short epiphany of that mysterious realm of fairy mist is equivalent to Qin Hao's tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years of hard training. If he can get the opportunity of the immortal emperor again this time, he will be able to complete the method of becoming a king after 9 deaths and set foot in the realm of the immortal king. It's a sure thing. More importantly, it's very possible to get a glimpse of the secret of setting foot in the realm of the immortal emperor. Whoops! Thinking of this, Qin Hao stepped into the air, and when the lightning exploded, he rushed straight towards the immortal kings of the foreign land. Thinking about it? To enter that secret realm, the first priority is to kill those immortal kings from foreign lands. Kill him. Seeing Qin Hao coming so powerfully, 10 immortal kings rushed out from among those foreign immortal kings. Even though Qin Hao's cultivation level was only half-step to the immortal king. But the immortal killing sword in his hand was too great a threat. If it weren't for there are still 7-star immortal kings and others to suppress, and the other 8 immortal kings will also come out together. Cut. Qin Hao is fearless, his whole body is surrounded by the Hongmeng immortal light, and there are 528 Hongmeng immortal bones in his body, all of which have the Hongmeng immortal patterns emerging. At this time, Qin Hao can be said to be truly going all out. Previously, whether it was to kill the netherworld demonic python or the mountain troll, Qin Hao had never used all his strength to kill it. Hey! With the integration of the Hongmeng law, the killing power of the immortal killing sword has obviously been unblocked. One sword slash. In the meantime, billions of destructive sword energies were slashed out like a violent storm. The 10 immortal kings from foreign lands who came from all directions with killing techniques were all shocked. They could easily destroy the universe. The killing technique of star territory was annihilated by the sword energy of the immortal killing sword at the moment of contact. Not only that, in this moment, 3 immortal kings from foreign lands were injured by the sword energy. This kind of unparalleled killing power, it is really shocking and extremely terrifying. Wrong. He still can't completely control this quasi-immortal emperor weapon. At this time, an immortal king from a foreign land condensed his eyes and noticed Qin Hao's shattered palm. It was torn apart by the sword energy of the Xuxian sword, which meant that Qin Hao would also be attacked by the sword energy. Let me just say, how can a mere half-step immortal king control such a powerful killing weapon? Set up the formation. In an instant, the 10 immortal kings of foreign lands immediately made countermeasures. I saw 10 of them, located in 10 directions, surrounded by the source of endless darkness, laying an ancient barrier. In that barrier, there was a boundless foreign land, clearly manifested. It was suppressed by the sky. This is a foreign race from outside the territory, an extremely terrifying forbidden technique. With the power of 10 immortal kings, in full formation, they can summon foreign lands to suppress the enemy. In recent years, the immortal realm and the foreign realm have in the battle, many immortal kings died under this forbidden technique. Break. Qin Hao raised his eyelids slightly, and the witchcraft of the 12 ancestors manifested, and then merged into one. It can be clearly felt that Qin Hao's momentum has skyrocketed. The Xuxian sword slashed, and a sword light was as vast as the Milky Way. Slashed out with an unstoppable force. The next moment, a loud cracking sound was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 242. I saw that the boundless foreign land manifested by the 10 immortal kings of foreign lands were chopped into pieces with a single sword. With extremely violent dark laws, its unscrupulous rampage shattered the void inch by inch. The ancient barrier laid down by those 10 immortal kings exploded like glass in an instant. Poof. The 10 immortal kings from foreign lands all suffered severe backlash. Their bodies were violently shaken, and they vomited blood. Even the originally vast and terrifying supreme pressure on them experienced considerable ups and downs. How could it be so scary? Did he hide his cultivation before? The 10 immortal kings from foreign lands showed horror in their eyes, unable to hide their shock. They originally wanted to use forbidden techniques to summon foreign lands to suppress Qin Hao, but they didn't expect that after Qin Hao's combat power exploded, he actually reached such a shocking situation. Such combat power is already comparable to that of the Immortal King, right? The 7-star Immortal King and several other immortal giants in the distant world were also more and more shocked. Being besieged by 10 immortal kings, Qin Hao not only did not suffer the disadvantage, but also smashed the killing move with great force. This kind of heaven-defying combat power, even if you look around the immortal realm, you won't be able to find much. Crack. At this time, the 12 ancestral witches merged, and Qin Hao, who was surrounded by the grand fairy light, had transformed into thunder and shot out of the air at extremely high speed. Boo! In the flash of lightning, an immortal king from a foreign land was killed by Qin Hao with a sword before he could react. The gods in his body glowed, surrounding the law pool, and immediately sealed the soul of the immortal king from a foreign land. The souls of these immortal kings from a foreign land after refining, it will be of great benefit to Qin Hao. A curse. Death Soul Technique. Sky-splitting slash. The moment he saw Qin Hao, he killed an immortal king again. The 9 immortal kings from foreign lands turned pale with fright, and immediately used destructive killing techniques to attack fiercely. All kinds of world-destroying killings techniques, immortal killing soldiers containing the origin of darkness, bombarded like a violent storm. In the blink of an eye, Qin Hao was completely overwhelmed by the killing power of destruction, and no one could be seen at all. But as the Hongmeng fairy light exploded, Qin Hao, who transformed into Kunpeng Hao, surrounded by thunder and lightning, led the world to attack vertically and horizontally at the fastest speed. Under the ancient heavy eyes, all killing techniques were easily seen through and were constantly attacked and destroyed. When defending, Qin Hao also kept on, an unparalleled counter-attack broke out. In a short period of time, 2 immortal kings were severely injured and almost died. At this time, Qin Hao, although he did not have any great power of law, but every move he made contains the aura of the Dao of heaven and earth. It is the aura of the origin of Taoism. It seems that Qin Hao and the Dao have merged into one, returning to nature. I haven't become an immortal king yet, but I'm already on par with the peak. Such qualifications are so terrifying. Once you become a king, you will be invincible. The expressions of the foreign immortals who suppressed the 7-star immortal king and others were quite solemn. In such a short period of time, more than half of the 10 immortal kings who had taken action before had been killed or injured. The remaining 5 immortal kings alone were not able to survive at all. Maybe, blocking Qin Hao and losing is already a failure. At this time, in this secret realm, somewhere in the void space, there are 2 figures hiding. I don't know what secret method they used to hide in this void space. No one noticed it at all. These 2 people were none other than the 9 dragons immortal king and the giant immortal king. The method of becoming king after 9 deaths. At this time, the expression of the 9 dragons immortal king was extremely solemn. An irrepressible fear surged out in his heart. He saw that Qin Hao had inherited the inheritance of the 9 deaths immortal king who was famous in the immortal realm in the past. And judging from Qin Hao's appearance, he had at least reached the level of rank 7 or 8, and his own fighting strength was enough to kill the immortal king in adversity. Only then did the 9 dragons immortal king understand why Qin Hao was so confident against him that day. If the 7-star immortal king had gone a little later that day, I'm afraid he would have been buried under Qin Hao's sword. Jinayu Immortal Lord. Thinking of this, the 9 dragons immortal king felt angry towards the Jinayu Immortal Lord. Jinayu Immortal Lord ordered him to attack Qin Hao, and he must have wanted to test Qin Hao's trump card. In the end, he really thought it was just a trivial matter and foolishly ran to test it. It seems that foreign land is going to lose. What should we do? At this time, the giant immortal king next to the 9 dragons immortal king spoke. They have been hiding here, and they are not here to watch the show. I wanted to wait for the immortal king of the foreign land to completely call out the secret realm, and then another mantis stalks the cicada. Oriole was behind. However, they did not expect that Qin Hao's unexpected incident suddenly appeared, which disrupted their plan. Yes, the 9 dragons immortal king knew the plan of the foreign race from the beginning. It can even be said that, from the beginning to the end, the actions of the foreign races outside the territory were guided by them. They discovered this double secret realm when they were detecting the source of the immortal source crystal. Because they found that they could only crack it by sacrificing the blood of a true immortal, they set up this secret realm. The plan fell into the trap. Let the aliens from outside the territory come forward, sacrifice the true immortals of the Imperial Pass, and open the secret realm. They then take action to deal with the aliens from the outside. Not only did they successfully open the secret realm, but they also returned as the heroes of the Imperial Pass. Therefore, they will, after falling into the 9 heavens world, he hid in safety in advance. The news about the secret realm must not be leaked, otherwise it will definitely attract the 8 immortals. We have no choice but to take action in advance and deal with them and the foreign races from outside the territory. The 9 dragons immortal king came back to his senses and pondered for a while, with a fierce look in his eyes. Now that the secret realm has appeared, they can complete the next sacrifice themselves. Just in time, they took advantage of this opportunity to directly remove Qin Hao. Now that he has made a grudge with Qin Hao, no matter what the reason is, Qin Hao cannot be allowed to live. Once Jin Hao completes the method of 9 deaths and becomes king again, it will be troublesome. Good. The giant immortal king heard this and did not refuse. More than 100,000 warriors in the imperial pass were trapped. If he traps and kills a few 7-star immortal kings, he will naturally not bear the slightest psychological burden. The inheritance of an immortal emperor, let alone the trap after the emperor passed, it was worth rebelling against the immortal realm. Immediately, the 9 dragons immortal king and the giant immortal king immediately took action and deployed. At this time, in the secret world, Qin Hao, who was holding the immortal killing sword and killing all around, suddenly changed his expression. Not only Qin Hao, but also the immortal king of the foreign land, the 7-star immortal king and others also felt something. This breath. The immortal power of the quasi-immortal emperor. Could it be that a quasi-immortal emperor was really born in the immortal realm? No, the smell is a bit weird. Look. A fairy pattern appears. I saw that in this mysterious void filled with dark energy, mysterious immortal patterns were constantly emerging. Those mysterious immortal patterns were extremely weird, like spider threads, penetrating every inch of the void. Qin Hao, who had been fighting madly before, the 7-star immortal king, the immortal king of foreign realm and other creatures were all infected. But Qin Hao and the others, none of them noticed it. At this time, those mysterious immortal patterns continued to light up with strange lights, exuding a creepy feeling. Sense of danger. This is not the scent of an alien race. This is the law of immortality in the immortal realm. Someone is plotting it secretly. At this time, both the immortal king of the immortal realm and the immortal king of the foreign realm all reacted. The rat that hides its head and hides its tail. Get out of here. After scanning the void of the secret realm with his heavy eyes, Qin Hao suddenly slashed out with a sword. Sun Yan's sword light slashed out, and a void space in the distance was split by a sword. 2 figures were clearly revealed in everyone's eyes. It is the 2 9 dragon immortal kings. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 243. 9 Dragons Immortal King. Fighting Spirit Immortal King. Them. Looking at the appearance of the 9 Dragon Immortal King, the 7-star Immortal King and other giants from the Imperial Palace, they were all stunned. Because the 2 9 Dragon Immortal Kings were working together to create a pale golden ancient talisman. That ancient talisman is full of fluctuations over the years, and seems to contain some kind of heaven and earth law, which is extremely mysterious. The ancient talisman's slightly flickering strange grey light was exactly the same as the mysterious fairy pattern grey light that Qin Hao and others were stained with. Obviously, those weird and mysterious immortal patterns were laid by the 9 Dragon Immortal Kings. What do the 2 9 Dragon Immortal Kings want to do? Could that be the quasi-immortal Emperor Talisman? It is indeed a quasi-immortal Emperor Talisman, and that ancient talisman of the quasi-immortal Emperor seems to be closely related to the secret realm of the Immortal Emperor. That's right, that ancient talisman can activate the power of the Immortal Emperor's secret realm. The faces of the foreigners and other immortal kings from outside the territory all changed. They perceived it more clearly. The secret realm of the Immortal Emperor that needs to be sacrificed with the blood of the true immortal to be summoned. At this moment, 2 people with the 9 Dragon Immortal King, there was a strong sense of echo in the ancient talisman sacrificed by the people. Recalling that before, the 9 Dragon Immortal Kings had been hiding in the dark, but they were not discovered. This made the foreigners from the outside world immediately understand a lot of things. They seemed to, it was designed and exploited. Did you plan this matter? What do you want to do? Betrayal of the immortal realm. The 7-star Immortal King and other imperial giants also came to their senses and shouted angrily. This time they were ambushed by aliens from outside the territory. I don't know how many Imperial warriors will be robbed because of this. But in the end, the source of all this turned out to be designed by the people from their Imperial pass. This feeling of betrayal is far more hateful than falling into the trap of an alien race from outside the territory. Festival. The two nine-dragon immortal kings, who were slashed by Qin Hao's sword and revealed their true forms, did not hesitate at all. The two of them attacked with all their strength, and all the majestic and vast immortal laws poured into the ancient immortal talisman. Poof! Immediately, there was the sound of flesh and blood exploding. Whether it was the giant of the immortal king of Daiguan or the immortal king of a foreign land, their whole bodies exploded with blood. Even Qin Hao's powerful physique was strangled out. There were tiny traces of blood, and immortal blood overflowed. It was those mysterious immortal patterns wrapped around their bodies that suddenly became as sharp as blades. This made the seven-star immortal king and others' expressions change greatly, and their hearts were endless. A sense of danger. Because those mysterious immortal patterns contain the aura of the quasi-immortal emperor. They can be cut continuously and cannot be broken into pieces. It is extremely scary. If this continues, it will not take long for them to be crushed by these weird immortal patterns. Oh! Reaction: the fastest is Qin Hao. With the Hongmeng immortal bone in his body, Qin Hao's physical strength has reached an extremely terrifying level. In a flash of lightning, Qin Hao crosses the world in one step and wants to kill the two nine-dragon immortal kings. But the next moment, the void around the two nine-dragon immortal kings changed obviously. Then, under Qin Hao's lock, they disappeared directly. When they reappeared, they were already far away in the secret realm. The way of time and space, the movement of space. Qin Hao turned around and looked at the two nine dragons immortal kings, but did not continue to attack. Because the two nine dragons immortal kings obviously controlled this secret realm with the help of the quasi-immortal emperor's talisman. In this secret realm, it is very difficult to kill the two of them. In this moment, the immortal king of the foreign land and the immortal king of Daiguan have already lost their lives. Those who lost their lives were even the true spirits of the Yuan Shen, who were completely being shattered by the immortal patterns. His soul was completely shattered. This frightened the seven-star immortal king and other giants even more, and they had to join forces to tear the void apart and escape. But unfortunately, the entire void had been penetrated by those mysterious immortal patterns. This world has turned into a giant net with fairy patterns, and they are like fish caught in the net. This can't go on like this. Use all your strength to break through the immortal emperor's secret realm. Wouldn't this make it easier for them to draw on the power of the secret realm? But if we don't, we'll be sealed here. That's right, we must get out of this predicament now. After those immortal kings from the foreign land looked at each other, they immediately made a decision and tried their best to activate the 9 altars. Buzz. With bursts of trembling sounds, billowing immortal blood in those dark auras scattered on the altars. This caused the 9 altars to all light up with dark evil light, emitting a mysterious power. Boom. Under those powerful sacrifices, the secret realm of the immortal emperor, which had become increasingly clear, finally arrived. A mighty and boundless imperial realm immortal power, like the sky dome pressing down, caused the entire 9 heavens world to tremble. Click. At this moment, the alien immortal king and others, and the barriers that blocked the 9 heavens world, were shattered inch by inch. That was the true immortals in the immortal realm who were trapped in the 9 heavens world seized the opportunity and fled immediately. If there was no chance of survival, they would naturally fight to the death with the aliens from the outside world. But now that they have the chance to escape, they will not continue to die. Open. In the secret realm, the blood-stained foreign immortal kings all shouted loudly after summoning the immortal emperor's secret realm. With a thick and ear-splitting sound, an ancient door actually appeared in the secret realm. How come? Such changes were beyond the expectations of the 9 dragons' immortal king and others. They did not expect that the aliens from outside the territory who were guided by them would actually be able to open the immortal emperor's secret realm. Kill. Immediately, their murderous intent surged, and with the help of the manifested power of the immortal emperor's secret realm, they wanted to completely kill everyone. After the immortal emperor's secret realm was born, the killing power of those mysterious immortal patterns did indeed occur. Huge transformation. Even giants as powerful as the 7-star immortal king had their immortal patterns enter their bodies in an instant, dripping with immortal blood. Those immortal kings and immortal kings with weaker cultivation levels were shattered into pieces in an instant. Qin Hao's the blood stains are becoming more and more shocking. But with the Hongmeng immortal magic contained in the Hongmeng immortal bones, Qin Hao's life is not in any danger at all. Walk. In the blink of an eye, 8 immortal kings and immortal kings died. The 7-star immortal kings and those immortal kings from foreign lands immediately rushed into the ancient gate of the immortal emperor's secret realm at high speed. Qin Hao glanced at the 2 9-dragon immortal kings with ugly faces. Man, with one step across the sky, he also entered the ancient gate of the immortal emperor. Compared with dealing with the 2 9-dragons immortal kings, the opportunity of an immortal emperor's secret realm attracted him more. Furthermore, the front and rear layout was so large that the 2 9-dragons immortal kings it's impossible for people to just let go. What to do? Sure enough, when he saw Qin Hao and others rushing into the immortal emperor's secret realm, the expression of the immortal king Zhanling changed continuously. After working hard for so long, he still made a wedding dress for others after the result came. Get in. After a period of uncertainty on the face of the 9 dragons immortal king, he still couldn't hide his greed. With the quasi-immortal emperor talisman in his hand, they were protected even if they were under siege. Immediately, with a flash of fairy light, the 2 9-dragons immortal kings, it's also about escaping into the immortal emperor's secret realm. Qin Haolang stood in the void in a secret realm where the whole world was filled with lifeless energy and the whole world was filled with a lifeless gray color. There is no life in this immortal emperor's secret realm, only a strange aura of death permeates the air. The aura of death was filled with the power of the immortal emperor, which was more powerful than the immortal king's law. In addition, there is a dark source that is more and more destructive than the dark energy of the immortal king of the foreign land. It was the fusion of 2 completely different auras that gave birth to that gloomy aura. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 244. Sure enough, it is just the law of the quasi-immortal emperor. After careful sensing, Qin Hao determined that the laws of the emperor in this secret realm were not the immortal emperor. Back then, he had personally understood the laws of the immortal emperor in the immortal mist secret realm in the Gulay Mountains. Although the two are very similar, but the difference of half a step is like a world of difference. Of course, even so, the power of the immortal emperor filled with this secret realm is extremely terrifying. The quasi-immortal emperor, even if he has not yet completely set foot in the emperor realm, is enough look at all the heavens and all realms. It can be said that the sky cannot be buried and the earth cannot be destroyed. The 8 great immortals in the immortal realm do not hesitate to cut off the path to become an emperor and change the avenue of the immortal realm. What they want to pursue is only the realm of the quasi-immortal emperor. With the quasi-immortal emperor, whether it is the coveting of foreign lands or the turmoil in the world sea, is enough to suppress it. But unfortunately, judging from the current situation, although the 8 immortal lords in the immortal realm are becoming increasingly powerful, if they want to aspire to be the quasi-immortal emperor, they must misty and hopeless. At this moment, Qin Hao's expression changed, and he turned his head to look into the distance, where he saw a huge bone mountain. There were faint dragon patterns on that bone mountain, and it seemed that it was an ancient immortal dragon that had fallen here. At this time, in that bone mountain, there was a faint aura of the immortal king, which was gradually awakening. Qin Hao's eyes moved slightly. Is there any immortal life alive in this secret realm? I thought that the only people coming in were alien races from outside the territory, but I didn't expect that there were also creatures from the fairyland. Not long after, an extremely weak voice spread from the mountain of bones. Senior, are you the master of this secret realm? Qin Hao heard this and pondered for a while before asking. Haha, I was just a slave following my master in the past. The weak voice seemed to be smiling. But the words he said still shocked Qin Hao. Being able to follow a quasi-immortal emperor, even if he is just a servant, is at the very least the beginning of the immortal king realm. What's more important is that in this world of death, the opponent has never fallen. Judging from this method, he may have reached the peak of the immortal king. When you entered the secret realm, you also came for the source of the immortal crystal, right? After that, that weak voice spoke again. Is there only the crystal of immortality here? Qin Hao heard this and asked directly. He cares about the source of the immortal crystal. But the inheritance of a quasi-immortal emperor is a great opportunity for him. If it is possible, Qin Hao will naturally I want to get both. Come and talk. The weak voice heard the meaning of Qin Hao's words and invited him to come. Qin Hao was not afraid of this. With a flash of lightning, he escaped into the Bone Mountain. With Qin Hao's current cultivation level, as long as unless he encounters a creature at the level of a quasi-immortal emperor, he has nothing to fear. The moment he entered Bone Mountain, Qin Hao's eyes suddenly opened up. A beautiful scenery of mountains and clear waters came into view. A waterfall fell on the mountain, and a lake sparkled. The lake there are a few willow trees on the side, and there is a small thatched hut, located next to the willow trees. Compared with the ashes of the outside world, this place is completely different. But Qin Hao can see that this land of beautiful mountains and clear waters is not real. This is based on the laws of immortality. A scene from the past was fixed here. In front of that hut, a figure sat dry, wearing an ancient battle robe, with an extremely weak breath of life. Descendants of the Nine-Death Immortal King. The figure in the battle robe raised his head and looked at Qin Hao. He could tell at a glance that Qin Hao had practiced the method of becoming king after 9 deaths. It was just a fluke that he got the inheritance from the Nine-Death Immortal King. Qin Hao shook his head slightly and looked at the figure in the shirt carefully. As he had perceived before, the figure in the shirt had definitely reached the peak of the Immortal King at its peak. Of course, now there is only a thin line between him and his body. Junior Qin Hao, I don't know what I call my senior. Qin Hao saluted the figure in the shirt. The figure in the shirt was stained with an extremely strong source of darkness. That source of darkness was different from the dark energy of foreign creatures. To a certain extent, it was actually the same as before. The dark ancient palace where his master was imprisoned is somewhat similar. This figure in the shirt may have been to the end of the Boundary Sea, the place where the darkness and turmoil originated. My name is Kang Long. Before immortal ancient times, I left the immortal realm and went to the Boundary Sea to explore the imperial realm. You juniors probably have never heard of my name. Kang Long Immortal King retracted his gaze and smiled. Qin Hao's aptitude is far more amazing than what he had sensed before. Regardless of the immortal foundation, immortal soul, immortal body, and immortal Dao, they have all reached an extremely terrifying level. The situation. One can imagine what kind of accumulation Qin Hao will have when he sets foot in the Immortal King realm. With such amazing potential, it is not impossible for Qin Hao in the future to have a glimpse of the Immortal Emperor realm. The Immortal realm can be born such a shocking evildoer. It is not in vain that his master fought tooth and nail to suppress the dark turmoil. Is this the place where the senior quasi-immortal emperor once lived? It is true that Qin Hao has never heard of the name of Kang Long Immortal King. He turned around and looked at the hut and lake. Before going to the end of the Boundary Sea to suppress the dark turmoil, The master has been enlightened here. Kang Long Immortal King nodded and said. Since the era of the emperors, has there been another dark turmoil in the Boundary Sea? Why hasn't the immortal realm heard anything about this matter? Qin Hao was shocked and couldn't help but ask. If immortal realm knew about this, it would be impossible for the Nine Deaths Immortal King, Kang Kyung Immortal King and others to betray immortal realm and re-establish the immortal way. The dark turmoil was suppressed by my master before it even left the Boundary Sea, so the immortal realm naturally didn't know about it. Kang Long Immortal King said. Since the dark turmoil was suppressed, why did the previous master die? Qin Hao was even more shocked and asked. Because my master knows that the end of the world sea is where the darkness and turmoil originate. Therefore, the master went to the end of the sea alone to end the dark turmoil. There is no trace of sadness in the words of Kang Long Immortal King, and there is even a hint of pride. Throughout the past and present, apart from the immortal emperors of the emperor's era, who else has such world-shattering courage who dares to enter the world alone? The end of the sea? But his master dared. Not only went there, he also killed the end of the sea and turned the world upside down. Reaching the end of the world sea with your own strength. Qin Hao's eyes also showed shock. Such a feat is indeed rare in history. Unfortunately, it seems that he was robbed at the end of the Boundary Sea in the end. Could it be that Senior has also been to the end of the Boundary Sea? Looking at the origin of darkness on Kang Long Immortal King, Qin Hao became more and more angry. You know, according to what Kangsheng Immortal King said in the past, the immortal emperors in the era of emperors also went to the end of the Boundary Sea. Kang Long Immortal King is only in the Immortal King realm. The courage to dare to break into such a forbidden place is amazing. I did follow my master's footsteps and went to the end of the Boundary Sea. Kang Long Immortal King nodded. The difference is that his master killed him directly, while he followed his master's path. What is hidden in the place of origin at the end of the Boundary Sea? Qin Hao couldn't help but ask. The end of the Boundary Sea was blocked by the master, so I only saw boundless darkness. As for what is hidden in that darkness, I don't know. But what is certain is that there are creatures at the level of quasi-immortal emperors there. The Kang Long Immortal King's tone was quite solemn. At the end of the Boundary Sea, there are not only quasi-underground creatures, but I'm afraid there are more than one. Otherwise, with his master's cultivation, even if he is defeated, he should not be able to escape. Only the quasi-immortal emperor? There is no real immortal emperor creature. Qin Hao was slightly surprised. If there were a real immortal emperor creature, my master would not be able to suppress the dark turmoil. The immortal emperors in the age of emperors should have gone to a more dangerous place than the end of the Boundary Sea. Kang Long Immortal King, knowing the reason for Qin Hao's surprise, said. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 245. A realm above the immortal emperor. Qin Hao murmured to himself after hearing this. At the beginning, the Kangsheng Immortal King had told him about the 9-story immortal tower and the realm above the immortal emperor. Since the origin of darkness at the end of the world sea is still there, then the immortals in the era of emperors, the emperors are very likely to have gone to where they came from. As powerful as the immortal emperor, it is impossible for them to appear out of thin air. What the immortal emperors tried to stop and suppress was probably the same level of chaos. Senior, was his origin damaged by the energy of darkness? After that, Qin Hao came back to his senses, looked at Kang Long Immortal King, and asked. In order to bring back my master's immortal body, I was slashed by a quasi-immortal emperor creature. Although Kang Long Immortal King spoke calmly, the information in his words was enough to shock people. How could an immortal king survive after being struck by the quasi-immortal emperor's sword? This is not just luck. The quasi-immortal emperor creature at the end of the world sea was also severely injured by my master and has long since lost its peak. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'd die on the spot. Seeing Qin Hao's shock, Kang Long Immortal King said with a smile. I have a method that may allow seniors to heal their origins and return to the past. Qin Hao pondered for a while and said. Is it? So, what do you want? Kang Long Immortal King showed a hint of surprise. After looking at Qin Hao, he asked directly. First, I wonder if the previous masters left any inheritance. Second, why can the crystal of immortal source be born in this secret realm? Third, I want to know, is there a dark ancient palace deep in the sea? Qin Hao didn't hide his intention. After all, he and Kang Long Immortal King are not relatives, and they can't treat each other with precious treasures just after they met. Oh! When Kang Long Immortal King heard this, he waved his sleeves, and there was actually time and space. The long river manifested. In the long river of time and space, a wave solidified, revealing a picture. It was a corpse surrounded by the laws of a quasi-immortal emperor, floating in endless darkness. This is the place where my master died. My master's mantle is also sealed here. But it is a pity that without the cultivation level of the quasi-immortal emperor, it is impossible to get close to this time and space. The words of the Kang Long Immortal King were obviously a direct answer to Qin Hao's first question. After Qin Hao heard this, he tried to sense it with the way of time and space, and immediately felt a spin. Fortunately, the 9-story immortal tower glowed, allowing Qin Hao woke up in an instant. Otherwise, Qin Hao's entire soul might be involved in the endless darkness. The bones of the quasi-immortal emperor were actually sealed by several dark laws. In other words, that piece of time and space, but it is filled with several laws of the quasi-immortal emperor level. This also means that at the end of the boundary sea, there is definitely more than one quasi-immortal emperor level creature. No wonder, the quasi-immortal emperor, who is as powerful as heaven and earth cannot be buried, actually has to swallow his hatred and die. And as for the reason why the immortal origin crystal was born in this secret realm, it is because of my master's origin. Kang Long Immortal King said, and trapped a ball of fairy light in the endless void. The fairy source energy that Qin Hao sensed in the 9 heavens world overflowed from that ball of fairy light. The fairy source energy merged the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is condensed into the crystal of immortal source. No wonder if the Jushin world is taken away from here, no more crystal of immortal source will be born. This secret realm of the immortal emperor can only be entered through the secret realm of Jushin world. But this it does not mean that this secret realm is located in the Jushin world. As for the dark ancient palace, I have indeed seen them at the end of the boundary sea, and there are many of them. The third question, Kang Long Immortal King's words attracted Qin Hao's great attention. Are there really more than one of those ancient temples? Does that senior know what is hidden in the dark ancient palace? Qin Hao asked quickly. Since he ascended to the immortal realm, he has used his Dharma body to explore the 8 realms of the universe to find clues about the dark ancient palace. But the clues he got were very few. He could only vaguely figure out that in the boundary sea, there seems to be the existence of a dark ancient temple. The dark ancient temples I encountered all imprisoned powerful souls, some of which were even more powerful than when I was at my peak. Kang Long Immortal King said. Immortal King level soul. Qin Hao's heart sank slightly. When his master was detained, he had just broken through to the Emperor realm. He had not even reached the level of a true immortal. If he encountered an immortal king level soul, would he still have a way to survive? This made Qin Hao feel in his heart. There is a sense of urgency. After returning to the immortal realm this time, you must complete the method of becoming a king of 9 deaths as soon as possible and set foot in the realm of the immortal king. This is the 9-turn elixir, which should be able to heal the original wound. But I hope my senior can give me the origin of the quasi-immortal emperor. After that, Qin Hao did not break the promise and exchanged the 9-turn elixir from the 9-story immortal pagoda. This was the elixir from the prehistoric era and consumed more than 100 billion in luck value. As long as there is still a trace of true spirit, how can one refine this elixir? The elixir can cure you instantly. Good. After Kang Long Immortal King saw the 9 turns immortal pill, his eyes suddenly brightened up. Even though he had already prepared to sit down, if there was a chance to survive, who would want to die? As for Qin Hao's request, Kang Long Immortal King did not refuse. After getting the 9-turn immortal pill, Kang Long Immortal King immediately swallowed it. Ang! Immediately, a dragon roar that shook the heavens and the earth resounded, shaking the world. I saw a dragon above the head of Kang Long Immortal King. A beam of golden fairy light rose into the sky like a bright sun. That golden fairy light was actually a mighty ancient immortal dragon. The body of this Kang Long Immortal King turned out to be one of the 10 evil spirits in ancient times. Dragon. This shocked Qin Hao. No wonder the Kang Long Immortal King was so terrifying, even he could escape with his life under the attack of the quasi-immortal emperor. As the roar of the dragon got louder, this beautiful scene of mountains and clear waters collapsed inch by inch, revealing a mysterious ancient palace filled with deathly grey color. Suddenly, Qin Hao, who had sealed the origin of the quasi-immortal emperor, moved slightly. I wonder if the Kang Long Immortal King was making too much movement. Qin Hao clearly felt that there were a lot of auras gathering in this direction. The figure flashed. Qin Hao left the ancient palace and appeared above the Bone Mountain. Whoosh, whoosh. Qin Hao had just arrived, and there were figures arriving from all directions. There were immortal kings from the imperial palace in the immortal realm, and immortal kings from foreign races. After seeing at the moment of Qin Hao, both the giants of the immortal realm and the immortal kings of the foreign lands stopped immediately. The immortal kings of Daiguan were okay, after all. Qin Hao was on their side. However, those immortal kings of the foreign lands Wang, his expression was extremely solemn, and he even kept retreating. Before using the magic circle to suppress them, Qin Hao still almost destroyed them with 1 man and 1 sword. Now that there are only a few of them, if Qin Hao wants to kill, it will not be easy. Thing. Is this the breath of a real dragon? Could it be that the 10 ancient evils still exist here? The imperial giants in the immortal domain communicated with each other through sound transmission. After they glanced at Qin Hao, they were ready to step forward and ask what was going on. But when Qin Hao's dull eyes swept over, their bodies could not help but stiffen. Stop. Although Qin Hao's eyes are calm, they are too intimidating. There is no doubt that if they dare to cross the line, they will be attacked by Qin Hao's destruction. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 246. Swish, swish, swish. When the giant immortal king of Daiguan and the immortal king of the foreign land were all frightened, in the distance, an astonishing momentum appeared again in the void, and the boundless laws were shaken. The 7-star immortal king and others, as well as other immortal kings from foreign lands, all gathered together. The terrifying momentum of more than a dozen immortal king-level giants caused the space around the secret realm to freeze. The immortal king of the immortal realm and the immortal king of the foreign realm, who originally had a blood feud with each other, became strangely quiet at this time. Everyone's eyes were looking at the mountain of bones. They had already searched and explored the secret realm, but they had not found anything at all. The only thing that might have the opportunity for inheritance is this bone mountain. Call out! Call out! In this weird atmosphere, 2 more figures appeared from the sky. It was the 9 dragons immortal king and the war spirit immortal king who followed closely into the secret realm. Do you still dare to come in? When they saw the 2 9-dragon immortal kings, the 7-star immortal king and other imperial giants who were almost robbed, they were all murderous. In contrast, the immortal kings in foreign lands were much calmer. If the immortal realm giants start internal strife, that's only good for them. Everyone, this bone mountain should hide the opportunity of the immortal emperor. How about I join forces for the time being and attack this bone mountain? At this time, the 9 dragons immortal king sent a message to the 7-star immortal king and others, as well as the immortal king of the foreign land, and made a proposal. The fact that the 7-star immortal king and the immortal king of the foreign land and others did not take action in the previous confrontation is enough to explain everything. Interests come first, and then big grudges are enough to let go. But now, not only do they have interests, but they also have a common opponent. If they don't join forces to suppress Jin Hao at this time, it will be basically impossible for them to get the inheritance from this bone mountain. You have done such an unscrupulous thing, and now you want to join forces with an alien race from outside the region. Seeing the immortal king of Daiguan and the immortal king of foreign land, I was a little moved. The 7-star immortal king's face was cold and his murderous intent was piercing. Don't say it so nicely. If you knew about the secret inheritance of the immortal emperor in advance, would you be indifferent? Regarding the scolding of the 7-star immortal king, the 2 9-dragon immortal kings didn't care at all. They were both at the current stage of immortal king and stayed for countless years. Not to mention breaking the king and becoming the emperor, they were taking the next step to reach the top of the immortal king. It is a difficult task. And once the secret inheritance of an immortal emperor is obtained, it will definitely have a heaven-defying opportunity. The matter has come to this, there is no difference in saying more, or we can join forces to suppress this guy. Or, all opportunities will be taken away by the sun, and you will weigh the gains and losses yourself. Before the 7-star immortal king could speak, the 9-dragon immortal king transmitted his message again. Although they had the quasi-immortal emperor talisman as their trump card, it was a matter of 2 minds whether they could suppress Jin Hao with it. After all, Jin Hao, but with the quasi-immortal emperor soldier in hand. Phew. At this moment, Jin Hao, who was originally guarding the outside of Bone Mountain, took a leap in the air and went straight to the 9 dragons immortal king. When he stepped out of the air, the killing immortal sword appeared in his hand, and it struck the sky and the earth. The destructive sword intent makes all worlds tremble. If you don't take action now, when will you wait? The 9 dragons immortal king and the war spirit immortal king focused their gazes, and immediately worked together to use the quasi-immortal emperor talisman. This is not a secret realm from the outside world, and they cannot control time and space as they did before. But this secret realm is filled with quasi-immortal beings. The emperor's law is several times clearer than the outside world. Therefore, although the 2 9 dragons immortal kings are not in chaos, they use the immortal emperor talisman to resist the killing power of the immortal killing sword. Take action. Perceiving the power of the quasi-immortal emperor talisman offered by the 9 dragons immortal king, those foreign immortal kings looked at each other and then all attacked Jin Hao. Although both Jin Hao and the 9 dragons immortal king were both, we have a blood feud with them. But interests come first, and Jin Hao is the strongest in combat, so we put aside our grudge against the 9 dragons immortal king for the time being. Stop them. The 7-star immortal king with cold eyes roared and charged towards the immortal kings of the foreign land. The other 2 giants of the Emperor Guan immortal king hesitated slightly and followed the 7-star immortal king. Rumble. Immediately, an earth-shattering battle of destruction began. This ancient secret realm of immortals exploded. The aftermath of the war that could destroy the star field of the universe did not set off a big wave in this secret realm. Even though the secret realm created by the quasi-immortal emperor has been dead for countless years, he is not an immortal king. It can shake. Angry. At this time, a loud dragon roar resounded from the Bone Mountain. All the quasi-immortal emperor laws in this secret realm gathered towards the Bone Mountain. In the blink of an eye, the 9 dragon immortal king was originally the pressure of the laws controlled by the 2 people just dissipated. Die. The witchcraft of the 12 ancestors was integrated, and Qin Hao, who was holding the immortal killing sword, his eyes suddenly brightened, and his skills became more and more fierce. And when the Hongmeng Law shone with the chaotic fairy light, a chaotic shadow holding the Hongmeng battle axe condensed. Click. In when the Zuxian sword and Hongmeng battle axe slashed hard one after another, the quasi-immortal Emperor talisman made a crisp cracking sound. The law of the quasi-immortal Emperor disappeared. Even without the increase in secret realm laws, this is still a quasi-immortal Emperor talisman. This made the 2 9 dragons immortal kings pale in shock, and the chill in their hearts soared. They did not expect that the quasi-immortal Emperor talisman could not withstand the attack of the Zuxian sword. Could it be that the Zuxian sword was not a quasi-immortal Emperor weapon, but a quasi-immortal Emperor talisman? Real immortal Emperor soldier. Send you on your way. Seizing the opportunity, Qin Hao took the opportunity to completely smash the quasi-immortal Emperor talisman, and then slashed out billions of sword lights. In the horrified eyes of the 2 9 dragon immortal kings, the sword rain filled the sky, completely drowning them. The bloody light, the sound of explosions resounded loudly. The 2 9 dragon immortal kings just shattered their immortal bodies and their immortal magic exploded. Burst. When Qin Hao was about to take the opportunity to use the lock pool to imprison their 2 souls, violent fluctuations suddenly came from the 9 dragons immortal king's soul, and then it exploded. After the rumbling sound fell, the 2 9 dragons immortal king, that is, his soul was completely shattered, not even his true spirit was left behind. Not good. Go quickly. Seeing that Qin Hao had killed the 2 9 dragon immortal kings in a short period of time, the faces of the immortal kings from the foreign land who were intercepted by the 7-star immortal kings changed drastically. They did not dare to hesitate at all and immediately dispersed while escaping. They no longer had any fighting spirit. They knew that whether there was a chance of a quasi-immortal emperor or an immortal emperor in this secret realm, it had nothing to do with them. If they continued to stay here, they would definitely fail. Following in the footsteps of the 2 immortal kings of Kowloon. Now that we are here, why rush to leave? At this moment, the roar of the sky-shaking dragon reappeared, and a terrifying immortal shadow appeared in the Bone Mountain. Immediately afterwards, the boundless quasi-immortal Emperor's law condensed and manifested at this moment, and was photographed with a palm in the air. No one was missed. All the immortal kings from foreign lands were overwhelmed by the laws of the quasi-immortal emperors. What awaited them was naturally their souls scattered all over the place. Qin Hao's eyes moved slightly. It seemed that the Kanglong immortal king not only cured the origin, but also gradually controlled the law of the quasi-immortal emperor. Of course, it should only be controlled in this secret realm. Just like before, the 2 9 dragon immortal kings could also use the quasi-immortal emperor talisman to activate the laws of the secret realm. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 247. Quasi-immortal Emperor. The 7-star immortal king and other giants of the Emperor's Gate, their pupils shrank as sharply as needles, and they couldn't hide the horror in their eyes. There is actually a living supreme quasi-immortal emperor in that Bone Mountain? This is really amazing. Once it is transmitted back to the immortal realm, it will definitely set off a shocking wave in the 8 realms of the universe. My dear friend, you are so kind, and you will be rewarded generously in the future. When the 7-star immortal king and others were shocked, the loud voice of the Kanglong immortal king sounded in the Bone Mountain. Congratulations in advance from the juniors, the seniors have returned to the top. Qin Hao smiled, turned around and left the secret realm without much pause. The 7-star immortal king and others also quickly bowed to the bone body and followed Qin Hao to leave. When Qin Hao and others walked out of the immortal emperor's secret realm, the ancient door at the entrance to the secret realm quietly dispersed. That person just now was really, the quasi-immortal emperor. Seeing Qin Hao, he was about to leave the secret world and return to the 9 heavens world. The 7-star immortal king couldn't help but ask. The other two giant immortal kings also looked at Qin Hao, quite curious and shocked. Of course, in amid such curiosity and shock, there is also disbelief. That secret realm was once opened by a quasi-immortal emperor, but now there is no quasi-immortal emperor in it. That senior was the Kanglong immortal king from the immortal ancient period, and he once followed the quasi-immortal emperor. Qin Hao did not hide anything about this. As long as he is in the secret realm of the immortal emperor, even if the 8 immortal lords of the immortal domain come to kill him, they can't do anything to the Kanglong immortal king. Kanglong immortal king. Could it be that they were the 10 evil true dragons who had attained enlightenment before the immortals? Qin Hao has never heard of the name of the Kanglong immortal king, but the 3 7-star immortal kings are horrified. They have already set foot in the realm of the immortal kings a long time ago. Naturally, their understanding of the immortal realm is far beyond Qin's. Hao had expected it. Unexpectedly, when he was in immortal ancient times, the unparalleled giant who could rival the 9 dead immortal king would live to this day and even follow the quasi-immortal emperor. This kind of luck is simply unbelievable. After all, looking at it, in today's immortal realm, there are almost no immortal kings who have had the opportunity to follow the quasi-immortal emperor. After that, Qin Hao returned directly to the immortal realm. The 7-star immortal king and others sent a message to ask the imperial army to come to help and reorganize the Jushin world. They still don't know that the origin of the quasi-immortal emperor who can give birth to the spirit of immortality has been taken away by Qin Hao. Qin Hao didn't say much about this. With this kind of treasure, anyone with a little ambition will have evil intentions. In 9 deaths before the method of becoming a king is completed, Qin Hao doesn't want to have any more troubles. Fairyland. Daiguan border territory. Xianhuang Universe, Taoyi Holy Land. As Qin Hao's 10 people returned safely, the solemn atmosphere in the imperial palace immediately erupted in joy. The news spread quickly, and the leaders of various forces in the border areas came to pay homage. The news from Jushin world has not yet reached the immortal realm. But the story of Qin Hao stepping into the half-step immortal king, and the fact that he seemed to have the support of the immortal lord from the realm behind him, has spread in the border areas. Wu Lu's strength and background are enough to suppress all parties in the border area. Now that An Ran has returned, this naturally shocks the border forces and they come to pay their respects. After simply dealing with the leaders of the Purple Thunder Immortal Sect and other forces, Qin Hao immediately entered the immortal ancient forbidden land for retreat. Although the incident in the 9 heavens world was caused by the 2 9-dragon immortal kings, they were not specifically targeted at him. But before that, the actions of the 9 dragons immortal king were obviously directed by others. If what the 7-star immortal king said is true, then the person behind it is the Jinayu immortal lord. Jinayu immortal lord's temptation can only have 2 reasons. One is the immortal king of heaven, who is most likely on the verge of sitting down, or even already sitting down. The second is that the plan to ascend to the immortal realm in the Xianhuang universe and other star regions was discovered to be his doing. But no matter what the outcome is, it is not a good thing for Qin Hao. Therefore, seizing the opportunity to perfect the method of becoming king after 9 deaths is the most important thing at the moment. Zhang Taishu, Zhou Yang, Qin Yiyi, and others also raced against time to practice after returning to the Holy Land. Not only that, the monks in the entire Holy Land felt an urgent atmosphere. Relevant matters in the border areas were handed over to the masters of the Purple Thunder Immortal Sect and other forces. Dei Holy Land and above are all escaping from the world and practicing asceticism. Soon, the news of Jushin world also spread in the immortal realm. The entire immortal realm was shaken by it. The reason for the shock was not the heavy losses at the Imperial Pass, nor the layout of the 9 dragons immortal king, nor the invasion of alien races from outside the territory. But there is actually a secret realm of a quasi-immortal emperor hidden in the Jushin world. The spread of this news naturally caused huge waves in the immortal realm. Even though they knew that there was the Kanglong immortal king from ancient immortal times in that secret realm, they still attracted countless forces from the immortal realm to swarm into the Nine Heavens world. But it's a pity that the secret world in Jushin world can be entered. But the entrance to the immortal emperor's secret realm in the secret world can no longer be found. This incident even alerted a certain immortal from the 8 realms of the universe to visit the Nine Heavens world in person. In addition to the news about the immortal emperor's secret realm, the news that Qin Hao had quasi-immortal emperor soldiers was also spread among the major forces. Of course, this news was spread very secretly, and only the giants among the immortal kings knew about it. This naturally caused quite a stir among the immortal king level. Judging from what the 7-star immortal king and others said, Qin Hao, who has not yet set foot as an immortal king, can rival the peak immortal king with his quasi-immortal emperor armament. If he truly breaks through to the immortal king realm, he may be able to become the emperor in the immortal king realm. Of course, with the experience of the 9 dragons immortal king and others, even though the giants of the immortal realm are tempted, they dare not act rashly. Earthquake boundary. In a fairy palace with fairy light rising into the sky. Quasi-immortal emperor soldier. Since it was not obtained in the secret realm of the quasi-immortal emperor, where did it come from? The 9 death immortal king and others should not have quasi-immortal emperor soldiers. Janayu immortal lord sat cross-legged on the immortal platform and murmured softly to himself. Compared to the quasi-immortal emperor's secret realm in the Jushin world, he cared more about the quasi-immortal emperor's soldiers in Qin Hao's hands. If you are not at the level of the quasi-immortal emperor, no matter how strong your cultivation is, it is impossible to refine the quasi-immortal emperor weapons. Therefore, Qin Hao probably has the inheritance of a quasi-immortal emperor. The breakthrough to the quasi-immortal emperor is the realm that Liu immortal lord and others are constantly exploring and pursuing. Departure from territorial boundaries. In the center of the fairy islands, there is a burning ancient temple. Could it be that the 9 death immortal king handed over the origin inheritance to a junior? The out-of-land immortal lord is like standing on the sea of fire, with strange colors flickering in his eyes. Since the era of emperors, no quasi-immortal emperor has been born in the entire immortal realm. In the Sea of World, there may be immortals exploring the emperor's realm. King took that step, but no one returned to the immortal realm. Therefore, the quasi-immortal emperor weapons on Qin Hao's body definitely came from the origin inheritance. This also made the Liu immortal lord unable to believe it. It is enough to affect the entire. How could the supreme treasure that is the foundation of the immortal realm be given to a true immortal ancestor so easily? What do the 9 deaths immortal king, the sky immortal king and others want to do? Except for the Janayu immortal and the Liu immortal, the other 6 immortals all made some movements. However, the only one who guessed that the 9-story immortal tower might be in Qin Hao was the immortal master from the departed realm. The forces in the 8 major regions are also undercurrents and are quite unsettled due to this.